believes I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good day. Thank you so much if you are listening for the first time, or no matter how many times you've been listening to my podcast, if it's from the very beginning or you're just now tuning in. I appreciate everybody the same. I appreciate people that are taking a chance on my little old podcast. Again, I know you have so many options. There are a lot of podcasts out there today. And the fact that you decided to stop and take a look at mine, take a listen, means the world to me. I hope you continue to do that. And you can always email me if you feel like you want me to talk, if there's a topic you want me to discuss, or if you have a question or a comment on any of my podcasts, you can feel free to email me at ramblingsofaниnsomniac49 at gmail. Again, that's ramblingsofansomniac49 at gmail. Ramblings of an Insomniac 49 at gmail. Drop me a line if you have any questions, comments, constructive criticism. Let me know. I would like to hear from you. Singapore, what's up, Singapore? You guys have been turning out the podcasts. And Canada and Hong Kong. You know I love you, Hong Kong. I want to get back to Hong Kong. If anybody ever has the opportunity, I know traveling is expensive, trying to get away from work. And if you have a family and, it costs a lot to send a whole family on vacation, it's hard to get time away from work. And of course, it is not cheap. But if you can, go to Hong Kong, because the people in Hong Kong, oh my gosh, never have I met in all the countries that I've been to, have I met such a nicer group of people. Hong Kong, shout out to Hong Kong. You guys are just amazing, and I want to go back. I would love to go back. I wish I could go back one day, maybe. But shout out Singapore. You guys are out of United States. Singapore is the next most downloaded. I don't know if it's one person in Singapore that's downloading all of my podcasts, or if it's many people. But I got to tell you, I appreciate you no matter where you are, no matter what country, city you're from. If you are downloading my podcast and you are following me, you rock. You can check me out on Instagram, on Facebook, on X, formerly Twitter, and on Clapper, on YouTube. Check me out on any of those things. All right. So let's get to the bottom of things here. What's been keeping me up? Well, actually, it was kind of funny. I was driving back from visiting my grandson and my oldest son yesterday, and the song, you gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. Yeah, you don't want me to sing, that's bad. But that song, you gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. Anyway, that song came on and I forgot how much I love that song. And I was rocking out and really just having my own car concert. I was singing it, I was feeling it. I had it on repeat. I listened to it many, many times. And it was kind of funny because I was stopped at a light and this person drove up next to me, and I was really kind of putting on my own concert, putting on quite the show, thinking that I am, a rock star. And this gentleman next to me just happened to look over and see me, and he gave me the thumbs up, like, yeah, get it, girl, you go. And the thought occurred to me, why is it when we are in our cars, do we have like such freedom to like, what is it, I should say, what is it about being in a car and going on a drive that's so therapeutic? I mean, Maren Morris even has a song about that. It's interesting to me though. Why is it that going for a drive and listening to music is such therapy? I mean, music, I understand why music is therapy, of course, because there's a song for everything. Again, Maren Morris says that. She has a song called A Song for Everything. There's a song if you're happy. There's a song if you're aggro. There's a song about love. There's a song about everything. And so, of course, it's like your own counseling session, your own therapy session when you can listen to a song that just really touches you in some way, or that you're just really feeling the lyrics that day. But why is it in combination with a drive? Like, what is it about being in a car that makes it that much more powerful? That makes it where you just, want to do the air drums, you want to do the steering wheel drums, and you just really want to belt it out. And you don't care if you sing bad because no one is there to listen. So you could have a terrible voice like mine, and it doesn't matter because no one's listening to you. But what is it about in a car? We let our guard down. And I mean, of course, if nobody's listening, that's a big part of it, I'm sure. We know nobody is there to judge. No one's there to tell us that we're off key or off beat. No one's there to judge what songs we're listening to. But I just feel like being in a car, for some reason, makes it just even sweeter, you know? Goodness, sorry about that. I should have put you on pause. My nose was going crazy. But it's just fascinating to me that going on a drive in general, like there was a show called The Middle, and with Patricia Heaton and the guy that plays the janitor on Scrubs. I forgot his name, but there is even an episode dedicated to the fact that going on a drive, and the kids are like, so we don't have a destination. We're just getting in the car and we have no destination. We're not driving to a particular place. And they're like, no. And they're like, so what is the point on it? What's the point on getting in the car and just driving around? And the kids are just teasing their parents about how old they are and how only old people like that, and that you do that before you die. and and I disagree. I think a lot of people do that. I live out in the country and there's a lot of back roads. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people take back roads to drink and drive. But also, people take the back roads because they just like looking at the scenery. And then people are like, well, go on a walk and look at the scenery. Why do you have to be in a car and go on a drive? And of course, the answer is if it's raining or bad weather, you can be warm and protected. And also, if you go on a drive, you can get a lot further, a lot quicker, so you can cover more ground. Get out of there, you guys. Goodness. And but it's just funny to me that people are really into it, including myself. I love it. What is it about going on a drive? You guys go. What is it about going on a drive that just makes things so much, I don't know, it's just therapeutic. And then you throw in listening to music and doing your whole car concert. It's a great combo. Bonnie. And so coming back from Portland, I was thinking of that. And then it's funny how nostalgia happens too. When you listen to certain songs, it brings you back, it takes you back. I don't believe that people should, be living in their glory days. Glory days. You shouldn't constantly be living in the past. You should definitely accept the fact that you're not, it's not the 80s anymore, and you got to move on and be in the present. But you also, it's nice to hear songs that bring you back to a place that you cherished, to bring you back to a happy time, to a time that you felt positivity and happiness, and that there's just good memories, So it's great when you can find a song. Sorry, I'm trying to corral my dogs. It's great when you can find a song that just really brings you back to a time or place in your life or an event in your life And that's what's so amazing about music. And man, leftists, really crazy leftist liberals, because they're so in touch with their feelings, not that Republicans aren't in touch with their feelings. We're not robots. We have feelings too, dang it. Republican lives matter. Conservative lives matter. But I'm just saying those libs really know how to like get into the deep, dark areas of their soul and sing about it. And they make some good music, you know? So I was thinking about that driving, but are you guys, is anybody else out there a big fan of car concerts? I mean, there's even a whole show, Carpool Karaoke, because it's just amazing to me that something about a car, just, singing in your house, not the same. Singing outside, not the same. Singing, on a walk, not the same. Singing in your car, fabulous. What is it? Do you guys do that? Do you agree? Do you like to get in your car and then just going on a drive? What is it about going on a drive? Now, I'm going on a drive in the city, probably not so much. I'm assuming, I could be wrong. I'm sure there are people out there that love driving in the traffic of LA and New York. But if you are very blessed and very fortunate to live in an area like I do, we have all kinds of beauty and it's a gorgeous area. So going on a drive, you can see vineyards, you can see farmland, you can see mountains, and it's just a scenic backdrop. And then you throw in good nostalgic music. Oh, it's fantastic. I did a podcast a long time ago. I think it was called Assisted Living, or like 80s Assisted Living, something like that. It was from a couple years back. And I was talking about how fun it's going to be when my generation is in the assisted living facilities and they're playing like Eminem and 50 Cent and Ludacris in the background. And they're playing all these songs that are going to be pretty hysterical, that it will be like, I remember this song, Eminem. And we're all like rapping to 8 Mile, because, here we are, these 80-year-olds totally jamming out to, Luda. It's just funny to me. I don't want to be in assisted living anytime in the near future, but when I do, oh my gosh, we're gonna be like the best. We're gonna be the most amazing group of individuals to ever dominate the assisted living facilities out there. They're not going to be able to. We're all going to be Generation X's that are just going to be you. If you aren't a caregiver, when we are rolling into assisted living, well, I think you should apply, because we're going to be a pretty great generation to be looking out after. We're going to be a wily bunch. We're going to be a rowdy, sassy bunch. That's maybe you shouldn't be a caregiver. Maybe we'll be too lippy. Maybe we'll be like, don't tell me what to do. I'm Generation X. I got this. We know what we're doing. Speaking of assisted living, again, the whole reason I started this podcast originally was to bring awareness to what happened to my mom, and just bring awareness to memory care and assisted living facilities in general, and the way that our government is absolutely fucking over, in the biggest way, families. My mom had to sell her completely paid off home that we have had in the family for 40 years. And instead of having it left to me or my kids, it got left to the government to pay for my mom to be taken care of so that she's not out on the streets with dementia. In what world is that okay? In what world do we have to choose between caring for our family members that have paid taxes for an eternity, that have paid taxes since like fucking 14 years old up to 75, 80 years old, that have worked hard, that have gone to war, There are veterans that have to sell their homes to pay for assisted living, to pay for someone to take care of them, because unfortunately, not everybody has a family. And those that do have a family, maybe they're not set up to care for somebody that needs a lot of assistance or that has dementia or Alzheimer's. Because unfortunately, you have to have your house set up in a way that's going to be safe for them, that's going to be conducive to the lifestyle of somebody that could potentially escape if they have memory issues. To be conducive to be able to get in and out of a tub or in and out of a shower or up off of a toilet, in and out of bed. And people still have to work full time. And the state makes it where, well, if you make just enough to money, my mom only made $113 too much. $113 too much to have somebody stay in her home and care for her. $113 is what prevented my mom from keeping our family's home of 40 years that was totally paid off, that she paid taxes on, that she worked hard for, that she put her blood, sweat, and tears into, that was supposed to have been left to myself and my kids, that we have memories in. She had to give it up because she made $113 too much to have someone from the state, a caregiver from the state, come in and help her. And we didn't have the choice to put her in assisted living or memory care and not give up her home. They made us. The government made us. And in 2 years' time, it costs $400,000. So $200,000 a year to be in memory care. Now, trust me, caregivers deserve a lot of money if they're good ones. They deserve a lot of money because they're usually completely overworked and underpaid. And they have a lot of residents. They usually have far too many residents to care for. Well, my mom did not get the care she needed. It was during COVID. And Kate Brown, fucking that bitch, never, ever will I forgive the Biden administration or Kamala the killer, and Kate the killer. Both pieces of crap. I have a lot of things I wish upon them, and none of it's good. They killed my mom. The liberal administration killed not only my mom, but killed people's mom, dad, uncle, sister, brother, cousins, friends, grandparents. Killed family members because of their ridiculous, completely untrue COVID regulations. Their COVID regulations and their COVID policies killed so many people in assisted living facilities. That's an actual fact. That's not my opinion. COVID policies from liberal states, from our completely ridiculous Nazi Biden administration, killed people's grandparents, moms, dads, uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters, friends, cousins, boyfriends, girlfriends, wives, spouses. That's a fact. When you have a bunch of people in assisted living and they're not allowed to go out of their room, they have to stay in their room. They can't do activities. They can't go out and go grocery shopping. They can't see their family. They can't hug their family. They can't look into their family's eyes. They can't touch their family member. But yet you know who was allowed to do all of that? Oh, let's see. It was a revolving door. I couldn't come in to my mom's private room, her private room, with a mask, washing my hands, staying 6 feet away, and talk to my own mother while she was dying and was getting dementia. So before she totally lost her memory, before she forgot who I was, before she lost all memory of me, I wanted to see my mom. I wanted to be with my mom so that she wasn't scared. I wanted to be with my mom so that she wasn't anxious and scared. and she was dying. And I wanted to see her before her dementia got too bad. And they kept her from me. But you know who was allowed to be there? Everybody else in the world was allowed to talk to my mom and touch my mom and be around my mom. All the caregivers, the med techs, the nurses, the doctors, the housekeepers, the dietitians. That was allowed. And these were people that weren't necessarily vaccinated. But what ended up happening is they fired everybody that refused to get a vaccination. So then they were severely understaffed. And because they were severely understaffed, my mom had a catheter and she got septic. They finally let me in because I threw a temper tantrum and said that I was going to go visit my mom. And if they wanted to call the cops and they wanted to arrest me for trying to see my dying mother, then they could do it. Then go ahead. And I went up there anyway. And like I said before in other podcasts, to their defense, they did not have me arrested. But when I went up there, I'm glad I did because she hadn't showered in at least a week and a half. And my mom was incontinent. She had a catheter, and that catheter needed to be cleaned religiously. And she deserved to be cleaned. We were paying a lot of money, paying a ton of money so that my mom could be bathed and had her clothes changed and had her catheter changed and cleaned. And none of those things happened. She was sitting in the same fucking clothes for 10 days. Caregivers, there were hardly enough caregivers to get around because, again, they fired everybody that wouldn't put poison, that hadn't even been around for longer than like 6 months. There was no way of knowing what the side effects were. And again, my body, my choice, liberals. Remember, my body, my choice. It's all fun and games. You guys can fucking yell and scream and throw fits about any old damn thing you want. But God forbid somebody doesn't bend the knee to your bullshit. But I love so much seeing that the tides have changed and America has spoken. And America said, guess what? Your Looney Tunes batshit craziness is not going to fly anymore. Go to Canada, go to New Zealand, go to Australia, go to England, go to the bat bananas, socialist, communist, Nazi countries. Again, I'm not talking about the people in Australia. I'm not talking about the people in Canada. I'm not talking about the people in England and New Zealand. I am sure you are all lovely, wonderful people. Nothing against the people in those countries, but the government. And if you're listening to my podcast, you agree with me because I'm going to assume that most of you that are from those countries that are from socialist or communist countries are listening to me because you don't agree. You also do not agree with how your country is ran. You don't agree with how your government behaves. You don't like your politics. Or maybe you do. Maybe you love the politics and you just listen to me because you like listening to another point of view. You're doing your research, which I applaud you. I give you mad props, lots of respect if you completely disagree with everything I say, but you're listening because you're choosing to have a different point of view, to hear a different point of view. But we all know that socialist countries don't work. That's why Canada is going to hell. That's why New Zealand and England are going to hell. And that is why people are moving out of liberal, left-wing states here in America. I live in one. I live in Oregon. It's crazy liberal. It's ridiculous. It sucks though, because the big cities like Portland, Salem, Bend, Eugene, they are liberal as fuck. And because they are the biggest cities in Oregon, unfortunately, they dominate. The rest of the cities in Oregon are not like that. The rest of the cities in Oregon are conservative, and they don't agree with what Kate Brown did during COVID. I want everyone to remember that the Biden administration, Kamala the killer, they were killers. They killed people. They're very into killing and murdering. They love destruction. They love hate. They are very into riots. They are very into harassing people, bullying people. They are very into abortion, late-term abortion. They are very into sex trafficking. They are very into allowing criminals and the cartel and terrorists to come across our borders and murder people. Don't say you're not, lefties. You are. You've said over and over again, abortion, abortion, yay. We need abortions. We don't need to teach our children ethics and morals. We don't need to teach our children to keep our legs crossed and actually value love and respect our bodies. Nah. We don't need to teach kids to respect themselves and have dignity in themselves. Nah. Just sleep with everybody. You don't have to love them. You don't have to like them. You can just have a drunk little tussle. And then if you create a baby, murder it. Just kill it. No big deal. We have no value for life. If sex traffickers come in and take our children and use them for sex, liberals don't give a shit about that either. They don't care about your dying mom in a nursing facility and you not being able to see them. My mom called me when she still knew the phone number and she was still able to make phone calls and would tell me how scared she was and she didn't want to die alone. She would call me and beg me to come visit her and tell me how much she missed me and that she didn't want to die without seeing me. Let me tell you, that has given me some massive, massive PTSD. And had I not busted through the doors and said, I'm fucking coming in no matter what you fucking say, I wouldn't have got to see her as much as I did. And people were like, oh, well, you can see them through a window. You could see them through FaceTime. Oh, because that's the same. Yeah, looking through my phone at somebody is totally the same as touching them and hugging them and being with them. It's not the same. And my mom ended up not being able to use her phone anymore. So if I wanted to talk to her, I'd have to call, wait for a caregiver to have time, which they never did because, again, they were overworked because they were being fired if they didn't put poison into their bodies. So they were so overworked that they really didn't have time to sit there and hold a phone up to my mom's ear so that I could talk to her. Plus, it's pretty weird when hospitals get money for saying that people had COVID. What the hell kind of, what is that? What kind of shady crap is it where you get money if you say someone has COVID or died of COVID? Again, I want everybody to remember, everybody in America, this is what the Democrats did. We should never vote for a fucking Democrat ever again. I have so much PTSD. I miss my mom every day and I feel guilty every day because I made her. I'd convinced her that she had to move closer to me so that I could take care of her and I could be there for her and I could see her. She left her home, her paid off home that my father died in, and that she had memories in a city that she loved, in a home that she loved. She gave up her independence to come down and be in a facility. She didn't have dementia at first. She was getting dementia. It was starting to get bad, and that's why I couldn't have her live alone. She was starting to get dementia pretty bad, and she was really unable to care for herself. Plus, she had double hip surgery, so she just could not be alone. She needed someone to care for her, and I lived 3.5 hours away. I wanted her to be near me. And then right when I moved her, COVID happened. Right when I'm the one that convinced her to move so that I could be around her, so that I could see her, so I could care for her. I couldn't have her in my house, unfortunately, because again, she made $113 too much to be able to have a caregiver come. So I would have had to have given up and not worked and stayed home and took care of my mom and then figure out how to pay to make my home conducive for somebody that's had a double hip surgery and I knew was getting dementia. My house has stairs. I don't have a bathtub that she could get in and out of. The toilet's too low for her. I don't have, I have to get doors that she wouldn't be able to get in and out of and stuff once her dementia got bad. So instead I had to put her in a facility, and I thought at the time I would be able to visit. I thought I'd be able to see her all the time. And then boom, made up COVID. Our government decided to make up something so radical and so huge and completely wipe out every fucking small business so that Jeff Bezos and Walmart could make all the money in the world. Funny how Walmart stayed open and Home Depot stayed open and all the big chain companies stayed open, because I guess when you go to their companies, there's like a force field that makes you immune to COVID. I guess when you own a humongous company, you're suddenly immune to COVID, and you're also immune to following any kind of law or policies. You can just do whatever you want, whenever you want, just like politicians. So I am so glad that Vivek and Elon Musk, and I'm so glad that Trump put together the people that he did to be able to go in and yank out all of these shady, narcissistic, murdering motherfuckers, mass murderers. That is what they are. They are mass murderers. They are serial killers. You want to talk about Hitler? You want to call Trump Hitler? You want to call Trump Hitler when the Biden administration killed thousands and thousands and thousands of people needlessly. They did it for their own power, and they did it so that they could get money, because none of them stopped their life. They all got to continue to do whatever they wanted. They didn't wear the masks. They didn't stay home and what's it called? In place, stay home and stay away from everybody. Oh no, they went out doing whatever they wanted, because again, celebrities in Hollywood have a force field that makes them immune to this shit. Kamala the killer, Kate Brown the killer. The Democratic Party is a bunch of serial killing actual Nazis that actually murdered thousands and thousands of people because of their policies, because of their made up COVID, because of how they failed miserably. And because they failed miserably, and because of misinformation, because of the fact that they allowed the media to give a bunch of fake, completely inaccurate information, and they should all be sued, and I hope that's something else that can happen. But because of that, they are all Nazis. All because of power, and they thought they were superior. They wanted to weed out those that bucked the system. They wanted to weed out those that didn't blindly follow. And those of you that did blindly follow, shame on you. Get a backbone. Seriously, get a fucking backbone. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of weak-ass, sniveling little people. I'm sorry, but I kind of believe in the strong shall survive. I kind of believe in Darwinism. I really do. If you're a fucking idiot, what are you serving? If you're just a mooching person that doesn't work, and you mooch off the system and you take and you take and you take and you contribute nothing, and you're an idiot, what is your value? I'm sorry. That sounds so harsh. I sound like Hitler. But I feel like you should contribute something. Now, I'm not talking if you're retired. I'm not talking if you have a disability. I'm not talking if you genuinely have a valid reason that you aren't working. I'm not talking about the stay-at-home parents that stay home and take care of their kids and cook and care for their families. I'm not talking about those people. I applaud people that stay home and care for their families. I understand there are people with disabilities or things that prevent them truly from not working. I'm speaking to those that can work, are capable and able-bodied people that just choose not to, and they choose to have everybody else work for them because they think they're some fucking king or queen, because they think that somehow they're entitled. You serve no value. And if you're an idiot that blindly follows, again, what is your value in life? To suck up all of the resources of those that are working? To waste space of those that are paying rent and that don't blindly follow, that do go out and fight for what is right? Those that stand up for the little guy? Those that don't beat up and harass others? Ask yourself what you're contributing. Again, I'm not saying you have to go out and be building homes for people. And I just think that people should work and be some value. Be of value to yourself. Have enough respect for yourself. You should have respect enough for yourself to want to contribute something, whether it's working, whether it's volunteering, whether it's educating people on true history. If you are, helping out the community in some way, great. But if you're just sitting at home being like, I'm exhausted, I'm tired of what? What do you do? Laziness. Again, I've said this so many times before. I detest laziness. Again, I'm not talking about lazy on your day off. You're entitled to be lazy on your days off. You're entitled to be lazy after work. You're entitled to go on vacation. You've earned it. But if you're on an eternal vacation, what are you contributing? How is it that you can sit every day and look at yourself in the mirror and go, yeah, this is good. I'm doing enough. I'm doing enough. Yeah, I mean, I bless everybody with my presence, so that's enough. I mean, I get up every day and everybody gets to look at all of this gloriousness. Like, if that's your mentality, what the fuck are you doing? I know you're someone's child. I know you're someone's parent. You're someone's brother or sister or cousin, whatever. But if you're a piece of shit, seriously, come on. We have enough. Do something different. Try something else. People are sick and tired of pieces of shit. People are tired of mooching. And again, that shows when Trump won. And right now, everybody now, it's like cool to be a Republican suddenly. Suddenly the Democrats are like, oh, yeah, I have always believed these things. I was just kidding. I was just joshing before. I didn't mean it when I said that Trump and all of his supporters are garbage. I was kidding. I didn't mean it when I said that they're Nazis and they're like Hitler. I was kidding. When I called them racist, bigots, homophobe pieces of crap and said, I hope they die. When I bullied you, when I beat you up, when I rioted and set businesses on fire, when I prevented people from going to work because I barricaded, because I made a big wall in front of streets so that cars couldn't go by. Or, when we wouldn't let Jewish people go to the school that they paid for, that they're paying for. I was kidding. Just kidding. Like, what the fuck is that? Now, all of a sudden, they're like, I was joking. I've liked Trump and their supporters and his policies all along. We're victims. We're victims that we were oppressed and we felt like we couldn't be Trump supporters. We felt like if we were Trump supporters, we would get bullied and we would be hurt. We're oppressed. We were closet case Trump supporters. That's what they're all going to start saying. You watch. It's going to be that they're the victims and they're oppressed because no matter what, they're always, always, always oppressed. Have you noticed that? It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. It doesn't matter how great the economy is. It doesn't matter how amazing the job sources are, how many people have jobs. It doesn't matter if we're all going around singing Kumbaya and loving one another and skipping around in the streets like a big musical. Democrats are just big Eeyores, big fucking buzzkills. They just have to kill the mood. They're like, yeah, but remember this bad thing? Yeah, but remember when my tummy hurts a little tiny bit? Remember when I got a little constipated? Remember when I only got 9 hours of sleep instead of 12? They're just a bunch of fucking negative Nancy, gloom and doom, never ever happy kind of people. And now people are so ecstatic because Trump won that there's this huge, it just seems like joy. It's It's a different kind of mood. The mood has shifted to something called happy and hopeful. Hope. Remember that, you guys? Hope. I lost hope a long time ago, and it's like, there you are. There you are. Hope. I love you. It's been a while. Come give me a hug, Hope. Come on over here. Bring it in, Hope. It's called happy. It's called patriotism. Again, hello, patriotism, my old friend. Hello, patriotism, you stranger. Where you been? Now, I've had patriotism this entire time. But again, all the kids in Hollywood are going to be like, oh, it's cool now to like America that pays us a shit ton of money because we're overpaid court jesters. I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. They're overpaid court jesters. Sing for me. Dance for me. Dance for me, Julia Roberts. Play. Do something to entertain me. And yet they think they're so valuable. They're the least valuable people. I mean, not them as people. I don't want to say them as people, but their jobs are the least valuable jobs we have out there. Who fucking cares? We definitely don't need actors. That is for sure. So I love that there has been this Eeyore cloud is just moving over to Canada and moving over to other countries. Now, I don't want them to have that cloud. That's not fair to them. I feel horrible for those people, for the people that live in countries that have dictators, that are communist countries, that are socialist countries, because they're not doing well. Liberal states in America don't do well. I don't know why people have such a hard time looking at facts. You don't have to like facts. There are a lot of facts out there that I don't like. There are a lot of facts out there that make me sad and make me angry. But it's a fact, so I have to digest it and swallow it and deal with it, whether I like it or not. And me throwing a gigantic temper tantrum certainly isn't going to change a fact. So throwing a fit that Donald Trump is president, although I'm very, very happy that there haven't been all the riots that I thought there was going to be. I do love that. I do love that people seem to have contained themselves this time and instead are like, oh, yeah, okay, I better jump on this cool kid train. I don't know. I love it, though. I love that patriotism is cool again. It should have never been something to disrespect. We have our veterans out there that had to have felt so disrespected. That's an understatement. That's a huge understatement to say our vets were feeling disrespected. I'm sure they felt a hell of a lot more than disrespected. And people in the military right now, I'm sure that they had a big slap in the face so many times. And the Democrats did that. Shame on you. Our veterans need to be respected, and they certainly shouldn't be on food stamps, and they certainly shouldn't have to give up their homes or work hard to get a loan. And I 100% can't wait for all of these illegal immigrants that had the audacity to traipse into our country. I mean, I don't blame them. If you're told you're allowed to come in, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't just waltz into a country when they get a whole crap ton of free shit and get treated, have the red carpet rolled out for them? Of course, they're not going to say no. But I just love the energy right now that people are feeling hopeful again. That's such a nice thing. It's a thing that's been lost for a long time. But I just want to remind people that Kamala and Kate Brown and the liberals are serial killers. Their policies, their beliefs, their narcissism, their sadistic, they wanted power, they wanted money, they wanted to mooch and not have to work for anything or pay for anything. And it's their policies that killed thousands and thousands of people. And that's just a fact. And we need to never, ever, ever, ever let them forget that, because I'm not going to. They killed my mom. They absolutely killed my mom. That's a fact. So don't forget that. But right now, we need to live in the moment and say, okay, those things were done. So let's let Trump Get in there, clean house, drain the swamp like they say, get all of those sadistic motherfuckers out, those disgusting, disgusting killers out of there, and put people in place that are going to do their job. I love that Elon and Vivek get to go in and post all of the unnecessary, frivolous things that our government has been spending our hard-earned money on, because maybe if it's staring in someone's face, they might go, oh, shit, damn. Is that what our government's been doing? They've been completely stealing from us, and our economy is in the toilet because of frivolous, ridiculous spending that only makes them more money and us powerless and penniless. If you want to continue to be powerless and penniless and be a murderer, keep voting lib. Keep voting for lefty people. If you actually want a thriving economy and you want to have a chance to survive in this world and a chance to have a job that you want, a chance to pay your bills, freedom of speech, and have our constitutional rights upheld, well, vote for a Republican. But do your research. Don't listen to me. Do your research. Anyway, these are some things that have been on my mind. I know I went from 0 to 60. I went from talking about singing in a car and nostalgia and going on road trips and drives to kind of dark and doom and gloom politics. But again, that's how my weird brain works, and that's why it's all over the place all the time. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you so much, and I'm wishing everybody the mostestest, bestestest day ever. I appreciate you so much. Until next time.